Five-time first-team All-Pro linebacker. He doesn't like a lot of the accolades, but we like to show him highlights and remember him on the field. Future Hall of Famer, Panthers radio analyst, a smiley Luke Kuechly. Let's start with those Panthers, shall we?
I'm in. Last week was another tough one. We were right on the doorstep. Bryce had another really good game against the Eagles, and we just weren't able to pull it out. We got the Cowboys this week, and we're actually favored going into a game. We get some guys back. Hopefully, we get a little Jalen Coker back in action. Pair him up with Leggett and Thielen and Chuba, and we'll see if Bryce can throw another good game together.
Can they win?
Absolutely, yeah. I think they've played well. Yeah, I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them for our fourth win of the season. I think the last 5 games we've played well enough to win, and we've let a few of them sneak away from us. And you got to learn as a team as you get older and as you get more experience how to close games out, and that's what we haven't quite been able to do against the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes went down and scored. Same thing with the Bucs. We had an opportunity to win in regulation, and then last week against the Eagles, we are right on the doorstep, and now we just got to punch through it.
Got to win. I hope it happens. Excited for you and excited to hear you on that radio call. No, it's so funny in the past too. It started like against the Chiefs, like they're playing down, and the Bucs, like it's now all of a sudden they have respect. Like, hey, hold on, the Panthers aren't an easy out. The Panthers aren't like some team you're walking over, and I love hearing that more and more as the weeks go on. Last week I asked you to tell me how to stop Josh Allen. I kind of understood what you were saying, so I'm excited for this one. This week's homework assignment was all about the other MVP hopeful, Saquon Barkley. What are the Eagles doing? Let's start here. What are the Eagles doing to create so much space for this guy?
I think Sirianni and that scheme is really good. I think the name of the game in the NFL right now is how many different looks can you give a team pre-snap? So do you shift a guy? Do you motion a guy? Do you go pre-snap motion? I think one of the things that they're really good on is I think they block really, really well on the perimeter, and they're gigantic up front. I mean, Landon Dickerson, Mekhi Becton at the guard position, they're gigantic, and they just move people out of the way. And then Saquon, I mean, you can't say enough about what he's been able to do. His burst, to me, getting through the line of scrimmage is frightening for defenders. His athletic ability, I've already seen all the highlights, but I think it starts with they're just so – this play right here I think is huge. There's nothing there. He's able to scoot out to the right side and drills the poor sound guy. But they're so big and physical up front, it opens stuff up for him. So obviously Pittsburgh's got a challenge on their hands this week. I think it starts with Highsmith and T.J. Watt. Are they able to set firm edges on the outside of that defense? If that ball continues to stretch to the perimeter of the defense towards the sidelines, it opens up more lateral seams for Saquon to put his foot in the ground and get upfield. So I think it starts with those guys in the edge, and then those 2 linebackers, when they see run, they have to get downhill. What Philly does such a good job is they're really good up front on double teams on the defensive linemen. So, Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton, if they get a guy in between them, they are so good at moving that guy off the point of attack. The only way you can limit those double teams is if the linebackers see run, understand their responsibility, get downhill and take it from a 2-on-1 block to a 1-on-1 block. That's really the only way to do it. And right here, TJ Watt's a monster.
He's so scary. That hurt me watching. Yikes. He is so good. Well, I mean, Saquon's so good. The Steelers' run defense is so good. They're actually 4th best in the National Football League. I'm so curious to know what Saquon's gifting that offensive line based off what you just showed me. Like you got to roll out the golf carts or the golf clubs or the new skateboard or hoverboard or whatever. But I'd like to know, choose your fighter. Who's winning this battle? Who is winning this? The Eagles 5.5-point faves over the Steelers.
Ooh.
At the link.
I'm gonna go the Pittsburgh. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a defensive guy. I love T.J. Watt. I love Highsmith. He's a UNC Charlotte guy. Patrick Queen and oh my gosh, now I'm having a brain fart. NC State linebacker that I loved going into the season has had a great year.
Your boy.
Peyton Wilson's done a great job. So I mean, I'm gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one.
They don't have Pickens. Hey, Mr. Defense, they don't got no George.
It's all right. I'm going to go defense. Russ is going to find a way to figure it out. We played against him a ton when I was there. He's going to find a way to spread that ball out. I think I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Steelers are
road.
becoming too sexy of a pick. It's becoming chalk. Everyone now is going. I thought I was like alt, I don't even know, like listening to the alt music on Spotify while everybody else is listening to Taylor Swift. I thought I was cool picking the Steelers. Now everyone is seeing what you are seeing.
You're a trendsetter, I guess. Everyone's following your picks.
I think I'm going to go Eagles just because of this, because I need to zig
Right.
when everybody's zagging. I like that you're going defense. I like that you don't care if George Pickens is out there. You're fine. Russell Wilson will find a way. We know Josh Allen has been playing lights out, tough to stop. Did you notice anything in watching this game with Joe Brady and how he might be even working his magic in other ways so far? I think they got a big one against the Lions.
Yeah, I think, you watch Joe Brady, obviously comes from Sean Payton tree and alignments, getting people out, getting coverage looks, but he did something really good in the beginning, I think of the second half or the fourth quarter of this Rams game. They went up tempo to start this drive. And you watch Jared Verse come off the edge against Deion Dawkins. At the end of this drive, Josh scrambles, he's running. They didn't sub at all, and that pass rush was cooked. They couldn't get guys off the field. It was a 4-man rush. Josh was able to sit back there, dice it up, and eventually Jared Verse had to run off the field. They got a free play. But they probably ran 5 or 6 plays, no huddle, kept that defense on the field. They were tired. That Bills offense went right down the field and scored a touchdown. So they got a little bit stagnant in that game. Obviously, they scored 40 points, but a really good job, in my opinion, of Joe Brady understanding, hey, I got a good group on the field right now. I'm going to push the tempo. They had success early in that drive. And when you keep defenses on the field like that, especially with pass rushers, and you throw and throw and throw and make them rush, turn around, and chase, they get worn out. So great job by him keeping that personnel grouping in and letting Josh kind of work from there.
They're just dunking on people. 30 points a game. It's happening. You saw with, even with the shootout with Matthew Stafford, who deserves a little credit in here. I actually really like that game. That game's tonight. We're going to get to it. But I mean, maybe we all give Joe Brady his credit, but maybe he is sort of the front runner. I mean, there's a lot of great competition, but he's not getting enough love in the MVOC conversation.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Carolina with us, and he did a great job, and then he's been up there for a couple years. I think that, first of all, he's a grinder. That's been well documented since his days back with Sean Payton in New Orleans, and then he came here. He had a great relationship with Teddy Bridgewater. I think he knows exactly what he is, but I don't think he's afraid to highlight what his guys do really well. Obviously, Josh is a way different quarterback than Drew was in New Orleans. And I think Josh does a really good job of, he can run, he can throw the ball down the field, he can make every throw, but Josh does a really good job of short, just like little off-script routes to guys like Curtis Samuel and when Cole Beasley was there and even Diggs. He does a good job of saying, this is my offense, this is what I want to do, this is successful, but this is also what my best player on my team does. Let me get the ball to Shakur in space and let him run.
I think there's a fear from people that Joe Brady better be a 10 out of 10 and Josh Allen better be scoring 6 touchdowns a game because this defense might have some questions. Star-wise, pedigree-wise. You played under Sean McDermott for 5 years. Are you worried about the defense, and what's he telling his defense?
I think last week, obviously, they struggled. No sacks, no interceptions. I think the Rams only punted the ball 2 times. They couldn't get stops when they needed to. Man zone, they struggled. But the one thing with Sean McDermott that I'll give him a lot of credit for is he listens to the guys on the team, right? So we played 2013. We played the Saints down in New Orleans. It was late in the season. That was a game that we always had circled because of Sean and in that offense, and they beat us up. They scored 1 million points on us. I felt like they were all over us. There's me looking, I'm pouting. I remember this play actually. Yeah, it's awful.
Sorry.
But I remember Sean came in to the facility that next week, and he said, "Hey, there we go, perfect. Megan scored on by Jimmy Graham. Awesome."
Thanks. Good job, guys.
But Sean came in and said, "Hey, what didn't you guys like about last week?" And we said, "Hey, we didn't like this, and this. We felt like we had too much in. We didn't like how we approached this area on the field." And he said, "You know what? Perfect. We played the Jets the next week, and then the following week we played the Saints again." And Sean came in on that Wednesday, that first day of install, and said, "Hey, look, here's what we're going to play. I had too much in last week. You guys like this, this, and this. Here's a couple things that I like. Boom. It's on you guys and go make it happen. So that's what's so good about Sean, in my opinion, and that defensive staff is they're willing to listen. They're willing to make changes. They're going to do their best to highlight what their guys do really well. And, they struggled last week, but, you watch that game and you watch it again. And I think the Rams are one of those teams that is starting to hit their stride, and everybody in the NFC is watching them and hoping they lose because I don't think anybody probably wants to play them.
Hammy, you want to get in here?
Yeah, Luke, I was wondering, obviously, you're never going to argue with scoring 42 points, but one of the things I loved about Joe Brady when he took over the play calling last year is he really committed to the run, and we saw that complementary football. And the Bills only ran the ball 6 times in that game against the Rams. The time of possession was 40-20 in favor of the Rams. Do you think maybe they get back to that a little bit more against the Lions? Because you can't imagine they want to really get into a shootout against this high-scoring Lions offense.
Yeah, I think controlling the ball is good, but I think against the Lions, they have to find ways to score points. So I think for them, it's what's their most efficient way to score points, and that's, I think, having the ball in Josh's hands. And I think they might not run it a ton. Obviously, Cook is a fantastic running back, but they have a lot of quick throws and screens and stuff thrown behind the line of scrimmage and little 5-yard spot route to Curtis Samuel and Shakur. And that, to me, kind of mimics the run game for them a little bit. And getting it, I think Joe's just trying to get the ball to his guys in space and letting them move, whether it's Cook or Shakur or, Curtis Samuel. But, yeah, you got to be able to score points against the Lions. But I think for them, I think their best offense is having the ball in Josh Allen's hands.
Who wins the Super Bowl preview?
Oh, man.
In loud-ass Detroit, like Jordan Love covering his ears, Detroit. Calvin Johnson saying gritty AF Detroit. Who wins?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to go against the Lions at home.
Crazy.
I'm obviously a huge Bills fan. All my guys are up there, and I want the Bills to win so they can get the number 1 seed. Obviously, they need some help from the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have had a difficult time losing games this year. It feels like they find a way to win, but I think at home, I think I'm gonna go Lions.
Okay, you do sound super convincing. I think you're every fan hanging out on FanDuel Sportsbook trying to figure out what to do with that game as they add a little enjoyment to their viewing of this just hopefully shot-for-shot situation. I want to ask you about the NFC. You say the Rams they're healthy, they're getting there. I think they could go on a run. I think that it starts tonight. I'm obsessed, like foolish. I'm obsessed with who's going to go on a run, who's going to be Packers 2023. We've got this battle. We've seen great playoff matchups between the Seahawks and the Packers. Both teams, they're kind of hot right now. How does this one go? What are you looking at?
I think the biggest thing for the Packers is Jordan Love. I think their team goes as Jordan Love goes. The last 6 games, he's played better. He's obviously turned the ball over early in the season, and that hurt him. He's done a much better job with that. But in the big games is where I think they'd love to get a little bit more out of him when Josh Jacobs gets stopped in the run game, and they need to really lean on him to make some plays. I think that's what they need him to step up a little bit more in that. And I think he did in that first half against the Lions. He struggled a little bit, and then the second half he had this really good ball to Christian Watson. He had another ball to Christian Watson where he evaded pressure, steps up, makes a good throw, and then he fired a laser to Croft in the end zone. So I think for the Packers to have a ton of success, obviously a lot of it leans on that run game and LaFleur doing a good job with that. But when the moment gets big and they need to make a play, Jordan Love has to be the guy that steps up for them.
Do you like the Packers to make noise in the NFC? There's a lot to be had. A lot of teams can go on a run. Saying what I'm hearing, maybe inconsistent. Let's start here. What do you need to see more out of Jordan Love? Consistently, is it fixable, or have we seen the whole Jordan Love experience?
No, I think it's fixable, and obviously, he's still he's not a young player anymore. But I would say he's
I know what you mean.
This year for me, I think, obviously last year he played fantastic, but the big games, obviously Philly, the Vikings, twice to to the Lions against the good teams in the NFC for them to make noise and them to really go on a run. I think he needs to just play a little bit better because they're going to have to lean on him in those games, and I think he's definitely capable of doing that.
We're looking at the playoff picture, and he has had good games. He was 4-3 before the bye. They're 3-1. It looks like they're going on a bit of a run. The completion percentage under 70 for both. If you go back to before the bye and now, obviously you're talking about the turnovers, some great throws. There's a little more to be desired. If the season ended today, the Packers and Seahawks would be the first round matchup. Who do you like in the playoffs more, the Packers or the Seahawks?
I think for me, it's whoever gets to play at home. So right now, where the divisions are at, I would take Seattle. That's a hard place to play on the road. Obviously, Seattle's played a lot better on the defensive side of the ball the last couple weeks. I think for me, it really depends on who has the home game, and you can't underestimate the home environment of both Lambeau and Seattle. So for me, I think it's a toss-up between the two teams. I think they're both going to be at their peaks. I'm a huge proponent of if you can stay at home for the playoffs, I think you have such a huge advantage.
I'm a huge proponent of let's make it interesting. Which one of these teams has a better chance of taking out the Eagles?
Ooh.
Luke, be honest.
I like Seattle in that defense right now.
Top 5 across the board.
I think they're playing really well. They're averaging, I think they're giving up over the last probably 5-6 weeks. I think they're under 14 points a game. They traded for Ernest Jones. He's done a really good job for them. He is making a pick, and they're good outside. I think Reek Woolen has great length. Leonard Williams, the rookie, obviously, or the second-year player right there, making a big play. They're young. They have energy. And if they're playing in Seattle, that place is so difficult to play on the road in the playoffs. I give them an advantage, especially as an opposing offense with the noise and the energy. It's just a hard place to play.
Braden Fisk was on our show. I know, you Jared Verse, and this Rams defense playing tonight. He came on, and I figured he'd say, I don't like the Niners. He goes, I hate playing against Seattle, those fans. And I thought in my head, they're like a cute little fan base. They're loud, but I don't think that they were dangerous. And you're here like you're co-signing this with your face.
Oh yeah, there's a guy that sits at the end of the tunnel in Seattle. Have you heard about this guy?
No, who's this guy? I think that Braden was talking about this guy.
Yeah, everybody knows him. Every single player that has played a game in Seattle for an away team knows exactly who I'm talking about. And he is an awesome fan. He's a great dude. He has signs. He knows everything about the opposing team, about the players. He's got great jokes.
What has he said to you? I need examples.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I didn't. When was it? So in 2016, I didn't play that game. So I got dinged up the week before. I was out with some concussion stuff, and I was like dreading walking out because I'm like, he's gonna say something to me.
Hold on, Luke Kuechly is in the locker room, knowing
I wasn't playing that week.
I understand, but you want to like support your teammates, so you're going to be there. Who is the opponent? So you're playing the Seahawks.
Playing Seattle.
And you're in Seattle, and you're sitting there like eating your Uncrustable or grilled cheese sandwich or Reuben or whatever the hell, apple pie, whatever Luke Kuechly eats.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to go, I'm nervous. I'm Captain America, and I'm nervous to go out there because his fans are going to tell me a joke.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, man, he's going to have something for me. And I'm like, man, I don't need that right now. And I remember I walked out and he said, hey, Luke. I was like, oh my gosh. He was nice to me. He came over and he said, hey, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? We love watching you. I'm glad you're taking a little bit of time to get yourself back. So he is a great fan. He's a great person, but he is a dude that if you've played in Seattle, you know exactly who he is.
Who is he? Do we know? Do you know anybody know his name?
I should know his name. I feel bad that I don't.
I wanted Mike McDonald on the show. Scratch that. I need this. I need the fan.
Is it Captain Seahawks?
Is it Captain Seahawks? Hold on. Let's show.
He stands
Is it
right
this
on
guy?
the corner.
No. Yeah. Is it that guy?
No, it's not him. It's so if you're coming out of the tunnel, he stands on the right. He stands on the right side of the tunnel, right where it turns the corner.
You said that he comes over to you. How does he come over to you to say that?
I went over to him.
You went to just take your licking.
You have to walk by him. You have to walk by him to get out there. And
But give me an example. I don't want to hear this cute stuff. I want to hear give me the venom that he spewed at you that made a future Hall of Famer scared to go over to hang out with him.
He's got, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Okay. He's always got good jokes for kickers and stuff like that. He's great.
He's like Nikki Glazer out there, just roasting people left and right. We love this.
He's fantastic.
All right, now let's get to the good stuff. The weekly Kuechly, not for the meekly, probably pretty geekly moment of genius. Luke, smartest thing you saw this week?
Oh, the last play of the game with the Miami Dolphins. Jonnu Smith runs an over. This is a big Mike McDaniel schemed up play, right? So Odell Beckham runs a little curl route, voids the zone. Jonnu Smith's job is to just find the open area. So I think a great scheme job by Mike McDaniel, really good job by Odell running an unselfish route, and then our guy Tua just that's a difficult throw, small window in the end zone to win the game. I think all around great catch by Jonnu, but great play design. That's a cover 3 look. They're clearing the backside hook player out with a seam ball and over, and then Jonnu runs to the voided zone, and great ball by Tua. It's just, that's a play where I'm sure Mike McDaniel was waiting the call during the game, saw the look he liked in that area on the field, pulled it out of his back pocket, perfect execution. I'm sure he'd love that play.
When I was watching that, I was thinking the same thing, seam ball in the voided zone.
Exactly.
It's exactly how I saw it. I need Kuechly glasses when I watch the game. Somebody, Apple Genius Bar, work on that. The Texans quickly, 2.5-point faves over the Dolphins in Houston. Iffy teams, could be a fun one. Who you got?
I'm going to go Texans at home. I like the pass rush. I love their defense. It's D'Amico Ryans is a guy that I loved growing up watching, and the energy that those guys play with, and CJ Stroud will have a big game. We haven't talked a ton about him the last couple weeks, but I think this will be one for him that he's going to step up at the end of the year to make some plays, get them back on the map a little bit.
Perfect. Enjoy the Panthers game with this juggernaut team looking for a win, their 4th of the season. He'll be on the radio call. Luke Kuechly, we're going to keep you through the break. I want to ask you about the face mask penalties. But we'll be back with Kimberly Martin of ESPN to talk all things Shador at the Knicks game last night, the Giants with the number 2 pick, little Jets, Aaron Rodgers, after this. Welcome back to Up and Adams. Luke Kuechly is on the show, and FanDuel is offering all customers a 25% profit boost token used on any live wager. This is very fun. You get to do it in real time, IRL, LOL. FanDuel Sportsbook during a game has these live wagers. You can boost any live bet that you like, minus 200 odds or longer for Thursday night action. NFC West, big implications on the Rams side here. What are the Niners going to look like? Who do you trust? Who do you believe in? Are you a Brock Purdy gal or guy? Let us know. Let's do this, Hammy.
All right, let's get into a couple of these props for tonight. Luke, we're going to start with you. Puka Nakua's line for receiving yards is 88.5. So do you think he goes over or under that?
I'm gonna take the over on it. I think it's gonna be a shootout tonight. I'm gonna take Puka on the over. I love watching him play football. He's physical. He blocks. He's tough. He catches every ball thrown at him.
Football player.
He's a football player. Yeah, he plays. Him and Cooper Kupp both. So I'm gonna take the over.
Love it. Kay, Debo's line for receiving yards 48.5.
I love Debo. I saw him talk. I'm all over Debo right now with these tweets and this. He's not happy, squeaky wheel, like whatever it takes. I'm going to go over it. He's been held, unfortunately, under 25 receiving yards per game, and I believe 4 straight games. The way this week has gone, I'm throwing my pen. He's throwing his hands up. The Rams have issues defending the slot. Okay, I've done the tape. Luke hasn't. I have, and I think Debo has his bounce back tonight.
All right, Luke, back to you.
I can't say shit like that with Luke Kuechly on the screen. Go on, Hamilton. Ay, ay, ay.
All right, Luke, Brock Purdy's line for passing yards tonight is 258.5. Does he get there?
I'm going to say he does. I'm going to take the over. He threw for almost 300 yards the last time they played. And like I said, I'm rooting for a shootout tonight in order for them to get there, in order for Debo to get his yards. Brock's got to play well, and I'm going to take the over.
He had almost 300 yards without George Kittle on the field. He obviously has him back tonight.
Good tag. Way to go.
Well. There we go.
You're great on TV. Let's go.
All right, okay. Stafford's line for passing yards is 244.5. So what do you think?
he's healthy. The offensive line is working. Puka's a football player. Cooper, he's got your beard. It's all happening right now for the Rams. Them being healthy at the right time matters. Shanahan's, tough. I don't know if they get the win. I think that they do. But it comes to yards like this. He's locked in. He's gone over that number, by the way. Doesn't care. They win the game, and everybody's talking about Josh Allen. Do you know how that probably makes Matthew Stafford feel? He's going to go out swinging. Niners pass defense, it's good. I get it, but I think Stafford gets his yards because I like offense.
All right, Luke, give me one anytime touchdown score for the Rams tonight.
I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. The ball found Puka a lot last week. On that last touchdown that Puka scored on that screen pass, Cooper Kupp had a huge block that sprung it for the touchdown. So I think high red zone. I think Sean McVay throws Cooper Kupp a bone down the seam and catches a touchdown.
I love that. Cooper's not getting enough credit either. He's playing really well right now.
Lock me in for George Kittle! Travis Kelce is Mr. Primetime touchdown. Sure. I think George Kittle gets one tonight. Niners undefeated in their last 8 games against the Rams, by the way. When Kittle plays, I say they win. What say you? Luke, who wins this one?
I'm gonna go Rams. I'm gonna go Rams. I think they're playing. They're hot right now. Obviously, the Niners scored 38 last week, but I think the Rams. I don't know. There's something about them that I like right now. I watched that whole game against the Bills, and they have an edge. They've got an attitude right now, and it's been fun watching the last.
Yeah, it's because you're talking about Josh Allen and a loss more than you are about Matthew Stafford at his age, a Super Bowl champion, doing what he's doing. I think that matters. Luke, you're the best. We'll get into more romantic. Do you like Love Actually? Is that a movie you've seen? You've never seen it?
I haven't seen that one.
Luke, that surprises me. Okay, we're going to play like Luke Bingo or something next time we have you on. See you later.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye.